do next, or one of my first selections, is two artists that, well, one's on my wall right now. We got Mr. Denzel Curry and JID, who are two of my favorite artists right now, certainly in hip hop. And they just released Bruuh, which was one of JID's leftover songs from the Never Story in 2017, and this is now the remix. It's now released as a legitimate song on streaming platforms and all that. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Bruh by JID and Denzel Curry. What would you think? Because I've been on you to listen to this for a while now. Even before we agreed to do this before we had like fleshed out this episode, I was like, yo, have you heard the new JID and Denzel?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Mike hit me snapping, being like, "You gotta listen to this new JID and Denzel." And I slept on it for too long because it's definitely a fire track. I'll say this. All right, so I'm a big JID fan, JID, however you want to go about it. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what? Let me go back one more time. Let me rewind because I'll say I'm a casual fan of JID. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I think he's a really good rapper, and I really liked a couple of his projects, especially the DiCaprio ones. Right? There's
DiCaprio too.
those are hard, and but there's something about him that feels a little forgettable for me, and I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know exactly what about him that does that. But the more and more I've paid attention to his lyricism, the more and more I find it, just increasing in quality. Like, you know what I mean? It's he's definitely gotten way, way, way better and just more interesting in terms of like the content that the lyrics are talking about. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when he kind of first came out, but so I have this running joke with my friends who are really big fans of Cole and Dreamville. And I personally stand at more of a Kendrick side, even though I love them both. I'm a huge fan of both Kendrick and Cole, but I'm more of a fan of Kendrick's catalog and what TDE has. And I think they're more of a stacked label personally. So when JID kind of first had his first couple of breakout songs, and then the big feature with Cole and like the Lyrical Lemonade video, I used to make fun of him, just be like, this is Dreamville's discount Kendrick, you know what I mean? And I think for a while as a fan, that kind of perception of him stuck with me for too long, more than he deserved. But I can't help but hear it every time I hear him. I don't know why, but as he's gotten better, I think he's been able to make more space for himself and have more of a distinct kind of character and sound to him. But I guess those are the reasons why I'm not so heavy on JID. Maybe at least not as much as you'd probably think I'd be, because I'm definitely a fan of, the lyrics, bro. You know what I mean? I love lyricists and hip hop, and he's really about that. So I liked Bruh a lot. This song was good. But speaking of features where somebody got outshined, I think Denzel went stupid on this. Denzel went crazy on this. And I guess it's fitting because it's the remix. Like maybe, JID's kind of just giving the alley-oop. But Denzel has went crazy on this, and all of the lines are just like ridiculous. Bro. They're all punchlines, and they're almost all noteworthy. But some of them, where he was mentioning Sun Tzu, he's saying stuff like, you can't see if you get demolished, break it all down and leave it repolished. Like, his wordplay was ridiculous on this track.
My favorite part when he says, the flames exhale, my pain's on braille, you feel it, similar to a fish in a skillet, hook and a line intertwined when I reel it like films. And then he gets into like all the films, like movie, groovy, jinky, Scooby, very spooky, soul as black as moolies, talk like Pootie, I spit fire loogies, like coming off the kufi with no blues, no fire Tukey. I was like, first of all, I don't know how he was able to rap all that. That sounds like the worst tongue twister of all time. So much worse than
it was
Sally
lyrical
with the
exercise,
seashells.
dude. Lyrical exercise.
And that is JID and Denzel in the flesh. I think they are. This was a flow case of all things. You know what I mean? But discount Kendrick Lamar. I am going to be laughing about that. How disrespectful that is. Although that there could be worse things to be called than discount Kendrick Lamar.
Definitely.
But And I will say this, when he did pop on the scene, I think a lot of people felt that way. Like he sounded a lot like Kendrick, maybe even a little bit too much. And that's why I liked DiCaprio too
Right?
so much.
I'm not crazy, right?
No,
I'm
no,
not
no, no, no.
crazy.
You're not crazy. Just the way you put it was hysterical. So I'm just laughing. But as he furthered his sound and furthered like himself as an artist, specifically on on an album like DiCaprio 2, I thoroughly enjoyed that much more. Even than the Never Story, because again, I thought he got a little bit more versatile with his sound and his stuff. But yeah, man, in terms of like the lyricism on this, Denzel I think outshines JID like on the more like lines that like will stick in your head and like.
Well, it was punchlines for days. Denzel Zeltron really came out. It was punchlines for days. He was snapping.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is, I think, out of the songs we're going to talk about, this is like the banger of the bunch. You know what I mean? Like out of everything that we have here, this is like that hard hitting track. I think the energy and the grittiness is just completely flawless.
I don't know. Until we get around to Pooh Shiesty, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, Pooh Shiesty's next, so I'll let you spit it. But the last thing I do want to say about this song is just how dark and menacing that the production is. I think it's perfect for both of these guys, like in the way that they rhyme and just kind of if you look at their catalog, I think this is a beat that was just perfect for both of them.
Definitely.
So I love this song. I think it's one of my favorite just kind of like banger type tracks that I've heard so far in 2021.
Denzel wrapped it up nice too. Like one of his last punchlines was, like me and JID, Scorpion is Sub-Zero. You know what I mean? And I thought that was sick imagery because it went along with the production, definitely. And that's a good segue to what I wanted to kind of actually, give props to JID for. Is I thought the chorus was really dope. The chorus was sick. The little like effects and dubs coming in and out. Like that was Kendricky. But sick. I thought it was dope and it was catchy. But like it played along. You know what I mean? You mentioned the chorus was menacing, and then even the vocal production was just kind of fell in line with that. And I thought it complemented Denzel's verse perfectly, and vice versa, right? Denzel's verse complemented the feel of that song perfectly, and I think Denzel went stupid on that. And it was funny that this song was one of our songs because actually just recently I had been watching a lot of old, like, Kenny Beats the Cave. Mm-hmm. I had been watching a lot of the old episodes where Denzel's on it, and it's like you forget how much this guy can snap, bro. And actually, one last thing I want to say about his style and his verse on that, Denzel is like he really, like, I think maybe doesn't get enough credit as like kind of in terms of his delivery and his voice. I think he kind of committed to it more in his earlier career, and he's been going more hip hop, but he has like a rock kind of delivery, real rock star screamo, like not screamo, but in terms of energy, like almost like a rap metal kind of voice. You know what I mean?
Have you seen his Bulls on Parade Rage Against the Machine cover? Zach De La Roca. Oh my God, I'm sending it to you after this. It is it is exactly what you're saying. Like so it's crazy because I have a friend of mine who came on the podcast like a long time ago and wrote for us and stuff like that. Eric Kanan, shout out him. He's got a teaching and coaching podcast if anyone's interested in that. But in terms of his sound, like he loves metal, and specifically like is a big fan of Rage. And I saw the Rage Against the Machine cover that Denzel did and sent it to him right away. And he was like, okay, first of all, who is Denzel Curry? Second of all, this is the best Zach De La Roca cover I have ever seen in my life. And to the point where he came with me to Denzel's show at Boston Calling. And
awesome.
We were both mosh pitting like crazy. It was a wild show, first of all. He's one of the best performers I've ever seen live personally.
So much energy.
So much, yeah, and just so he totally has that rock star edge to him that a lot of people, like artists in hip hop, just can't tap into.
Yeah, so. and I think like honestly, like I think like the rock influence in hip hop and vice versa, hip hop influence in rock, I think has been there for a long time. Even back for like Run DMC and Aerosmith kind of thing, right? And I think as time's gone on, rappers specifically, like have kind of drifted away from the sound and incorporating the rock sounds, like the guitars and the drums, but are still totally down to, kind of endorse the image of being a rock star. And I think vocally there's tons of rappers now, and I think even Trippie Redd and Juice WRLD, those kind of guys obviously are good examples of punk rock and rock bleeding into the delivery of rappers. But with Denzel, it's not a gimmicky kind of melody thing. You know what I mean?
Not.
It's like pure energy and vocal delivery that's like, whoa, this could just be on a rock record. You know what I mean? It could be on a rock record that's like hip hop influenced, where I think there's a lot of hip hop now that's like clearly hip hop rap, and then it's fun when they throw in the little rock influences to kind of spice it up. But Denzel, dude, he needs to be ahead of a band at some point. Like, honestly.
I agree. And I think that maybe would even be a lane he would be okay with going down, I feel like, you know what I mean? Because I just think he has so much more to offer than people understand and realize. So I'm glad you enjoyed that one.